Welcome guys, my name is Biz and today we're going to be looking at the top 7 basic false shuffles that you need to know as a card magician, as a card technician, as a card mechanic, as anything that you would like. When you're handling a pack of cards, you want to shuffle the deck, and for it to be in the same position as in the beginning, then you've come to the right place. Grab your favorite deck of playing cards and let's get it started. Welcome to the 7 basic false shuffles. Let's get going. Brah! Yo guys, so before we get started, I just wanted to remind you all to hit that subscribe button, smash that like right over there, and now we can get on and learn some really beautiful false shuffles. Let's get going. The first false shuffle from the 7 basic false shuffles looks like this. It looks like you're actually cutting the deck not once, not twice, but 3 times, when in reality you are cutting the deck from underneath. You're keeping a thumb break exactly at the position where you're cutting, and then you're going to be double undercutting the rest of the deck to the top. It's basically a table version of the double undercut, where you go like this, you hold the break, and then you cut that back to the top. Only in this situation, you're going to be doing it on the table. This one is really nice for combining it with other false shuffles that we're going to be learning. Like for example, doing a nice push through like this, then coming over here and doing one of these, or you can even combine the two like this. You can cut that one over there, keep a break, and then double undercut that to the top. So it's very nice because you can play around with it. So that's why I included it as the first false shuffle that you have to practice. You keep the deck in your left hand, you cut half of the deck, and the rest you take with your right hand to the top. You're going to hold a thumb break, and then your left hand is going to cut half of the cards from the bottom of that thumb break, bring those to the top. Relax your hand because your thumb, the meat of your thumb, is just placed in between those packets, and then you're going to take the rest and cut it to the top just like that. Here's another version of the same cut that we just learned, but this one is a little bit more flashy. It looks as if you are cutting the cards very fast in succession. You're cutting it once and then you're cutting it again from both sides. It's something that is considered a classic in false cuts, and some of you might already know this. The way that we do it is following the same instructions as before. We're going to cut the bottom portion to the top and hold the thumb break, and then we're going to split this packet. Let me show you what's happening by using one of these nifty nice blocks. So it goes like this. We're cutting to the top, we're holding the thumb break exactly at that position, and then I am going to break those 2 packets, and notice what's happening. That top portion is falling to the bottom while we're putting the left and then the right back on top. Let's get a few more of these so I have something to grip on. So we have those. I'm going to split with my left hand, see, from the bottom, and this one is going to go to the left, while at the same time I'm going to throw these cards from the top and move my right hand to the right. So I can actually split the cards and leave that top portion falling down on the table. So we cut those. I'm going to separate the cards, go up and then down, so I can separate them and put them one on top of each other. And there you have it, guys. The second false shuffle in the 7 basic false shuffles. So here is one that you're going to be really doing because it really looks like you're shuffling continuously, because you can take breaks, you can do it on an offbeat, you can just cut the deck once, you can talk with your spectator, and then you can cut the deck again in the same motion that you cut it before, and take another break, and then cut the rest of the cards back on top to reverse the full order. Not only that, but you can do it successively, just like this, so you don't need to take those breaks. Or you can do it so you only retain the top stock. But in this situation, because I don't want to arrange the cards back in this position, I'm going to do a full false shuffle. It's basically a full false up the ladder cut, where you keep taking the cards from the table and you place them on the bottom of the deck. So what's happening is this one goes over there, and we're having a thumb break, and then I cut the cards. I put this one on the bottom, and then I cut the rest, and you can see how the entire deck has actually cycled through. So we cut about a third of the deck, and I keep a thumb break. Then I cut from the top again about a third of the deck, and I grip it with the rest of the cards from underneath. So when I take the top portion, I'm actually taking both of those. I cut this one to the bottom, and I put the rest on top. What I like to do here in order to have a better grip on the cards, instead of starting with the fingers right over here and cutting and having a very few space here to grip the bottom cards, what I do actually is, I felt like that explanation was, you could really see my Eastern European side in this section. So what I like to do is I like to lift the packet up by sticking my ring finger underneath the packet and just literally poking it up from the table, so that when those cards are gripped, I actually have a lot of room to grip them. So I grip those, I cut the next portion, and now I have enough room to pick those up and drop the next ones on the bottom. So instead of going here, I actually lift the packet up. Did you see that? So instead of being here, I actually go up. And now I have all this room over here. So I go once, I pick that up, I go twice, I pick that up, and then I put everything back on top. In the beginning, just go very slow, put the cards down, and then keep doing it like that. Pick them up, cut the next portion, put it on the bottom, cut the next portion, and like that. Now the idea is that you don't want the spectator to notice that you don't have any more cards. Well, that was pretty nice. I could consider that a new pop. So you don't want the spectator to see that you're taking the cards from the bottom and you're putting new ones. So this is, when you're doing it fast, it will just look like you are shuffling the cards. It will look as if you are literally cutting the cards like this down on the table, when you're not, obviously. So make sure you pay attention to that aspect as well when you're cutting the cards. And like I said in the beginning of this video, you can take breaks. So you can go once, twice, stop, hold your thumb break at that position, talk with the spectator, even go with both hands and motion as you're talking so it feels much more natural, while retaining that break, and then cut the rest back on top for a full and nice cycle of the cards. What's nice about this one, just like with the previous one, is that you can actually combine it with different types of shuffles. So you can actually combine this with the up the ladder one. I actually lost the card over here. I left it on the bottom. And you can combine it with many others, but we're actually going to make a section on combining at the end of this video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this false shuffle. So let's move on. So we're going to be doing the classic slip cut at this point, where you're just cutting the top card of the deck into the deck and retaining the rest of the cards, just like this. This is very deceiving when you're doing it with the cards face down. And obviously, as you can tell, one of the cards is going to be displaced in the center of the deck. If you have the cards like this, you can actually manage it so it looks as if you're not actually shuffling the cards. But just know that that card is actually being lost in the deck. It's even more beautiful when you do it with one card face up and you go, we're actually going to be cutting the cards in the center of the deck, and in reality you've just cut that one single card. So is this really a false shuffle? Maybe not, but it is a false cut. So I thought it was very fitting to include in the 7 basic false shuffles right here in this video, since everybody does it. So let's learn it. We're going to have a card on top of the deck like this so you guys can actually follow what's happening. I'm going to grip the cards from the right and left. My left hand is going to cut about half of the cards using my thumb over here, and my right index is going to retain the top card by just placing the finger on top of the cards. Now I'm going to move my right hand towards the front while my left hand is retaining the packet that it was previously cut over here. You do need a little bit of friction between your finger and the card. So if you're really slippery, spit on your fingers and you're going to be fine. You don't need to spit. You can just you just, how is it called when you breathe hot air? You can just go on the finger, and then you're going to have a little bit of moisture on the fingers. And when the spectator sees you doing it, they're going to have a nice laugh. See how that can happen? Or that can happen. That's because I applied way too much pressure on the playing card. So you go over here, apply pressure in the beginning so that you can slip the card, but then relax your finger and just use it as a means for transporting the card from one part to the other. Over here, go over there, cut down, and then over here. So the thing with the slip cut is that you don't want it to look like you're bringing the cards from the bottom, obviously, right? So what we have to mimic is this motion of coming from the top, down, and then with the rest of the cards on top. And you just need to practice that. See how I'm just going up, down? I am instantly dropping this packet to the table so that it looks as if this one was on the bottom all along. Right there, and then like that. See? So there you have it, guys. That is the top card slip cut. It's a beautiful false cut, and I thought it was just fitting to put here. And I hope you guys enjoy and learn it. The Insight wallet is a clever peek implementation of the Himber wallet principle and provides you with immediate access to the spectator's information in a very disarmingly simple fashion. Here's how that looks like. Say the spectator wrote this number. They put it back inside of the wallet and then give you back the wallet. You then take a note from inside of it and in the process find out the spectator's number. The wallet is super easy to use as it requires no sleight of hand. It's made out of high quality leather and it fits right in your pocket. Now we're going to be learning the cream of the crop, the false shuffle of the false shuffles, the one and only, the God, the push-through shuffle. Now, I'm going to be showing you a very easy way to do a push-through shuffle, one that you'll just automatically be able to do, and it looks like that. Notice just how few cards I've actually shuffled. I swear to God, that could be a production. I think there's 5 cards in this. But it doesn't matter because the spectator will think that you're actually shuffling the cards as long as you're doing this, you know? So it's kind of a messy shuffle, and this allows you to push through the cards very easily. So instead of doing this, yeah, and then having a difficult time pushing the cards through and cutting them over there, what I advise you to do is just start riffling the cards and then go riffle very fast on the right, while also riffling a bit over here. And then you're going to have blocks of cards, or very, very few cards actually shuffled in. And you'll notice that the cards are very easily pushed through. In this position, the way that I like to hold the cards is with my pinkies at each corner over here, providing a lot of cover with my 2 fingers from the front. And then I'm going to actually push them like this with the pinky fingers and those fingers, and those 2 fingers. And then I'm going to pull this one from over here to the front and make a nice cut. So I am over here. Try not to do a long pause. So if you're over here and you're pushing, you're doing the pause only after you've made the push through completely, and then you cut them to the bottom. So once more, I start over here, I split, and then I move my fingers, pinkies at the corners. I do a very, very brief shuffle. I start pushing the cards. Somewhere around at this position, I just kick the cards like this with my pinky. See, just like that, I kick them. And then I instantly come with this one in the front. Play around with which packet you're actually going to be shuffling on top. See what I do? I cut the top portion to the right because I know the left one is going to be shuffled on top. And why am I saying this? Because when you're doing the push through, that's going to be the packet that's going to go on the bottom. And in this situation, it's going to be a good cut, like a full false shuffle. But if we cut the top portion to the right and then we're going to have that one end back on top. It's not going to make a lot of sense when you're going to come from the bottom of the deck. Notice that this one comes from the bottom. Come from the bottom and place this one on top. It's just going to look like you did nothing. So if you want to do something with the top packet being buried, or not being buried, but actually ending up underneath, so we're going to go like this. See, this one is actually on top. I know I said a lot of gibberish before. I am a little bit excited over here. So we're going to do it like this, and then we're going to push through. Now we're going to actually cut this one to the bottom, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold a thumb break at that position, and then cut the cards back to the top. Or, I know I'm a little bit derailing over here because this is part of the combination process. If we have the ace on the bottom of the deck and we do the push through, instead of bringing the ace and cutting it to the bottom over here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring the whole packet to the top, take a top portion, put it on the right side, bring this one flush with the rest of the deck, and then they take this one and place it on top. And in full speed, it will look as if you're actually cutting the cards, you know? Another classic of false shuffles, this one. But in this situation, I actually cut a portion from the bottom of the deck to the top of the deck. So if I don't want to do that, I go like here, I stop, I come here, and I go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this I just branched from one false shuffle into another false shuffle, which we're actually not going to go into because I don't like this false shuffle, where magicians place the cards to the right and then they bring it back on top. I think it's very obvious, and I don't like doing obvious things because I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. So in a contrast, when I'm doing this one, it really looks like you're shuffling the cards, you know. This turned into a longer video than I wanted to, but I think you guys got my little rant on the false shuffle over here. One last time, pay attention to where the cards are ending up. So if you're burying them on the bottom over here, that's okay because you're going to cut this one to the bottom. If the packet that's on top is going to end up on top, that's okay as well, but you're going to have to separate the cards and then perform another one where the cards actually end up underneath over here. Because then you're going to want to bring them back on top of the deck. And that was almost a false cut. So, you go once, this one can go over there. That was a rogue card. Twice, I can separate. If this one ends on the top, what I can do is I bring it over here. I keep a break and I cut it to the top. Or if this one is on top, I separate. Again, I do the false shuffle so that I can actually make the cards end up on top of the deck. I place them, I keep a pinky break, and then I bring the cards on top. Just always remember where I can see I did a little bit of shuffles over here. Just make sure that you remember where the top card is. That's the most important. So always in the beginning, shuffle with the cards face up so you can look at your selection, and always bring it back to the top. So there you go, guys. That is the easy push-through shuffle, you know? And from the easy push-through shuffle, you can actually evolve into really doing it very, very neatly like this. But in the beginning, I really advise you just focus on blocks of cards like that. There you go, the longest explanation for the push-through shuffle. After such a long explanation on the previous cut, the next one is going to be super fast, and it looks like this. Yes, this is actually considered a false cut because nothing is happening, as you can see. And I thought it was going to be super fitting to include here in the 7 basic false shuffles. You're going to cut the top portion of the deck to the right, and you're going to bring the left to the left. This one, you're going to let go and hold your ring finger underneath and flip it like that. And then this one with your ring finger, you're going to flip it on top of that one as well. Separate, flip, flip. separate, flip, flip, just like that. And there you go, guys. That is the flip false shuffle. Yes, that fast. The last false shuffle from the 7 basic false shuffles is one that is performed on the table but happens in the hands. So it looks like this. We're going to cut the cards from left to right and then complete the cut. You must be familiar with this one if you've been in Magic for a while. If not, welcome to the holy grail of false cuts. One which the spectator can do themselves and they will actually not realize that it's completely false. I'm going to show you one that is not false and you're going to find it awkward. So we cut the cards over here. Didn't that feel weird when I went from the left and then back like that? It felt weird, right? That's because this feels much more natural. We're completing from the left to the right. Because if we would do like this, see, if I'm cutting from the bottom and then completing the cuts, those are actual cuts, you know. But when we're cutting from the top and we're doing the same thing, then those are false. Yes, it's the beauty of visual psychology. So we're cutting from the top, one here, then the next one, and we go from left to right. There you go, guys. Isn't that wonderful? It's wonderful when you can pick up something in such a short amount of time. And that will be the last one from the false shuffles. In this last section, we're going to talk about combinations. So let's see how the deck is sitting after cutting in the previous false shuffle. So we have the cards over here. What I would like to do is just cycle through them. So we're going to begin with the first one. We go cut, and then we cut from the bottom to the top. I separate the cards. I go into a nice push-through shuffle. I cut this one over here. I bring the cards and I want to flip them over. So I do our flipping false cut over there. If I want, I bring the cards, and to finish it off, I go like this. And those were 3 or 4 of the false shuffles that we just learned, and I put them together. If you want, you can even start the demonstration by turning a card face up and cutting that one in the center so that the spectator can see that you cut the cards and you also did a nice pop, just like that. And then we can go into our false shuffles. We go once like that. We separate, make sure you remember where the top card is. I go again, I separate over here. I do another cut to reverse the cards. Now, when you're in this position, you actually don't want to do any false shuffles because they're going to be seeing the card. But what you can do is move one card from the top, from the bottom to the top like this, and it will look as if you actually cut the cards. And you can actually cut this one later on in the deck when you're having them face down. So let me show you again. So we have the 8 on the bottom face up, just for demonstration purposes. I'm going to take a thumb break over there. I cut this, and now that thumb break actually moved the card on the top of that packet, and I can bring these cards to the top. So now I can actually do a slip cut over here, but with the cards face down, you know. I can do a slip cut, and it will look as if I actually cut the cards, and I lost the card that I don't need. So see, combinations can also lead to new ideas. We go over here, we can separate again, and if we want, after the separation, we can just place the cards. I think I placed them the other way around because I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking about my love, coin magic. Actually not. So there you go, guys. Combinations are very nice, especially when you're doing a demonstration or you're just talking to the spectator. Meanwhile, you don't want to be doing just the same old thing, shuffling the cards like this. You know, you want to be squaring them up, cutting them, talking with the spectator, making a small pause, cutting from now and then, making a small pause. You can go like this as well. Turning around, making a small pause and talking, separating, making a small pause, you know. And then you can go and say, did you see how I just kept on doing that and that and that? And then you can go into your card trick. I wasn't paying attention really well to everything. I was, well, just 2 cards lost. That was not so bad. So there you go, guys. Combinations lead to perspirations and other fancy words. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was it, guys. Thank you very much for being with me up until now and for blowing through plumbing through. Plummeling? I don't know that word, but I know it sounds good. Until now, and for picking up some ideas here and there. I don't know how people watch these tutorials. Maybe they skim through it, maybe they watch the entire thing. If you do so, thank you very much. Really helps the YouTube algorithm to push this to as many interested people as possible in the world of magic. As you guys know, we have a website. It's called bigblindmedia.com, where you can find exclusive magic from top magicians from around the world, both card magic and a lot of other stuff like mentalism, coin magic, and a lot of things that I don't necessarily go into that area. I'm the card guy, you know me. But I think you guys, if you are interested in any of those areas, we cover a lot of subjects and we collaborate with really, really talented individuals to bring you top quality stuff. Thank you very much for being with us until now. I'll see you guys next Friday or next Wednesday. I'm probably going to be posting the next part of the interview with George McBride. If you haven't seen this one, make sure to check that. It's really nice. This is part of an entire series where we teach sleight of hand. So if you haven't seen the other series, make sure to check that one as well. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Amen.